and go over this. If you are driving down a highway and suddenly discover that your brakes have failed, how can you bring the car to a stop? You can pump the brakes rapidly. You can shift into neutral. You want to turn off the ignition, and then you want to use your park brake. Get the car over to the right. Next, always be ready for other drivers to do the wrong thing. This is true. Cars rushing to an injured person to the hospital to have the right of way and do not need to obey the speed limit. This is false. You have entered the highway and pushed the gas pedal down and to accelerate the car up to speed. Much to your surprise, when you let the car up, the gas pedal is stuck to the floor. What should you do to minimize the reaction to be keeping your vehicle under control? You want to shift to neutral, turn the ignition off, and apply the brake. There is a defensive driving protocol called the Smith system. Getting the big picture is one of the elements of the system. What does getting the big picture mean? This means constantly analyzing the traffic conditions around you. When waiting at an intersection to make a left turn, you should keep your front wheels pointed straight until you can complete the turn. Before turning left, it is important to yield to oncoming vehicles. From a one-way street, usually you make a left turn from the left curb lane. You come to an intersection with the flashing red light. You must stop at the intersection, then proceed as traffic allows. You are most likely to be in another driver's blind spot when you are passing them. There are 4 blind spots: left side, right side, front, and back. You're driving on a 2-lane road and you see a stalled car in the road in front of you. When should you slow down? You can cut down the chances of hitting another car by pumping the brakes. When changing lanes, you can check your blind spot by. You want to look over your shoulder. Next, before changing lanes, you must check traffic around you. For the best view while backing your vehicle in a straight line, you should turn your vehicle to the right and look over your shoulder. When deciding to change lanes or pass another driver, you should check the rear view mirror and blind spot. When you decide to pass on a 2-lane road, you should judge how much distance you have safely to pass. After passing another vehicle, do not return to the lane until you can see the vehicle in your rear view mirrors. You're driving on a 4-lane highway. A school bus is going in the other direction. Has to stop and pick up children. You should stop and wait until the school bus starts and the flashing lights are off. To reduce the effects of headlight glare, you should look to the right edge of the road. Children are playing on the sidewalk a half a block ahead of you. You will notice them in time to slow down if you have a habit of keeping your eyes moving. Any person who drives a motor vehicle on a public street and highway is considered to have given their consent to be tested to determine their blood alcohol content. This is true. Does the motor vehicle code provide punishment for a vehicle owner if he or she knowingly allows the person under the influence to drive their vehicle? This is yes. What is the percentage of alcohol content in a person's body to deem them his or her under the influence of alcohol? It is 0.08%. 1 bottle of beer or cocktail will produce what percentage of alcohol blood content in a 180-pound person? This is 0.025%. If you are convinced the person is under the influence of alcohol, how many points will be placed on a person's driving record? This is 6 points. Alcohol affects the body by putting the brain to sleep. Which of the following samples must be taken by a medical professional? This is blood, If you are arrested for driving under the influence of alcohol, then implied consent law requires you to take a blood test. If you take a breath, you will be asked to blow into a machine. It's called the breathalyzer. Which of the following drugs will have the greatest effect on the perception of speed and distance? This is marijuana. Which of the following effects of marijuana poses the greatest risk for driving? This is the perception of speed and distance. A driver's following distance behind another vehicle will vary by all of the above: weather conditions, speed of the vehicle, and road surface. Which organ of the body is affected first by alcohol? This is the brain. Which of the following statements is a justification for a driver to slow down when approaching a green light at a traffic intersection? This is all the above. Emergency vehicle approaching, another vehicle may run a red light, and the turn signal may change shortly. This is also called a stale green light. What is the term used for the time required to take your foot off the gas pedal to place it onto the brake? This is called reaction time. While the average driver is moving his or her foot from the gas pedal to the brake pedal, a car can travel 50 miles an hour, approximately how many feet down the highway? This is 55. If you want to stop or slow down gradually while driving on ice, you should use light, steady pressure on the brakes. Car tires most likely hydroplane if they are bald. You may run off the road onto an unpaved shoulder. You should keep your wheel straight and gradually slow down. You never want to hit the brake really hard. When approaching a sharp curve on the road, how can you best reduce the effects of nature's law? You want to control the speed of the vehicle. A police officer directs you to turn right even though you are signaling turn left. What is the best thing to do? Turn right as directed. I need all of you to type in 2 things you learned. All of you go ahead and type in 2 things you learned. Please do that right now. 2 things you learned. All of you type in 2 things you learned, please and thank you. Once you type in 2 things you learned, you're going to put your first, middle, last name, and date of birth in. Please do that for me. Guys, we're going to continue the review, so put questions in right now. How do you merge on it? How to merge on interstates? You turn on your mirror, turn on your blinker, you look over your shoulder, you accelerate up to the expressway speed. If it's 70, you want to get about 70. If it's 60, you want to get about 60. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and check the chat. Watch all my videos. I appreciate you.